for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap-ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't missing my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues. Guess if you ain't at the table, you on the menu, and I'm that spitter, baby. They don't want you to see, but everybody's out to Capitol Hill's rocking with me. Boys smoke the trays and plan to getting their life together. I'm comfortable with my role, so I'm like, whatever. Me? I ain't got a job, but I work hard. And you don't work hard, but you got a job. The irony is I'm judged while you feel the applause. I'm slept on, that's why I had to set this alarm. My dude is armed, I'm armed with this arm charm. Body banging like she got that cream from Barry Bonds. Yeah.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
That Dre season is here, a real hitter with a mic, I'm everything that they fear. With that hood ain't the same, I was all on their ass, I'm level-headed. So yo, my dudes love when I spaz, and I'm so over Seattle's passive-aggressive attitude. They don't call you back, what they really saying is F you. While I'm from the same place, I move at a different pace. I prefer if you just said it to my face, damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it
I hate
for
these
us.
average dudes with they average spit, writing average rhymes, knocking average chicks. The closer I get, I can feel the people starting to shift. I'm loyal to a fault, and everybody can't come with. Rap's a rich man's game, I'm only playing with change. They bang models and singers, I'm knocking my own flame, I'm different. The crowd, I move with the chosen few. Black thoughts, I could be the front man for the roots. No diamonds and gold, I'm on my sticks and stones. If we can see your panty line, you should have on a thong. My team is strong, through this fire we forged a bond. And they already know what it is when I get on. To the hearse, party like it's December 31st. When I'm on my deathbed, I probably crack in my nurse. You ain't got the bars to compete. I'm a verbal athlete, deflating these boys so they say that I cheat. Damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Yeah. I should probably start by apologizing for the long wait, man. You know, I know I be tripping. But I'm not just a rapper, I'm an artist. And, you know, my creative process is a little bit different than most. Nonetheless, I want to welcome everybody out to the Dre's Experience. I got TCF in the building. My whole camp's here with me. I got the band in here laying this cool-ass vibe. And I'm Seattle's own. Let's get into it.
Well, good morning and grand rising to all of y'all out there. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. I'm your host, Trey Holiday, today. And I got to say, I want to extend a thorough Thursday to you. It's also, as I love to say, Friday Eve, but, we just appreciate you guys for spending some of your time with us on this amazing Thursday morning. Very chilly outside. So before we get into anything, I want to just encourage everybody to be safe out there. I think some of the sun is melting some of those ice caps we saw early on the grounds this week. Earlier on this morning. I know a lot of schools were starting with a 2-hour delay because of all of the ice and the overnight. Some places had snow. Saw a lot of icy roads this morning. So just be careful. And as always, when we deal with inclement weather, it's a great time for you to be checking on your neighbors, particularly any of your seniors in your community, any of the elders. Just make sure they're okay. People are staying warm and being safe. With that, I want to welcome you all to the Morning Update Show. Once again, we really appreciate you guys for spending some time with us. Got to give a big shout out to our partners over at the South Seattle Emerald and over at KBCS 91.3 at Bellevue College. Appreciate their partnership and love being partners with them. Also, you guys can listen to the Morning Update Show anywhere that you guys listen to your favorite podcast. We got SoundCloud right there, but you guys can also check us out on Google, Spotify, iTunes. Anywhere that you're finding your favorite podcast, just look up Converge Media Network and you guys will be able to see the plethora of shows that we have available right there. I also want to make sure that we're keeping this message alive. We have been talking about it since the beginning. And for those of you who have been watching the Morning Update show ever since the beginning, you know that we started because of the wide variety of resources that were out there for COVID. And we didn't know it was going to last this long. But the truth of the matter is that there's always been a lot of information for us as citizens to dive through and to try to sift through to make sure that we're finding information that is relevant to us, to our neighborhoods, to our communities. The Department of Health has done a very intentional campaign called Here for Us. And you can find more about this at hereforuswa.org. I know Salman is putting that there in the comments, but you guys can click on this link and look for some culturally responsive communications around COVID. So whether you have questions about the vaccine, the wide variety of vaccines that are out there, we know there's three. Some of them have a different variant regarding the vaccine and then the booster. If you're looking for testing sites, if you're looking for, questions to be answered, if you're still out there and hesitant, we're seeing a lot of changes because of COVID, right? And so as we've hit certain numbers here throughout the state, looks like Governor Inslee is going to be having a release of the mask mandate coming up on March 21st, which could also mean more questions for lots of us in community, because they've been saying since the beginning that masks are the one thing's keeping us safe. And, the thing is that no longer will it be, put on by the state to say, there's a mandate for you to be wearing masks. So, but that doesn't mean that personally you can't say, I still feel comfortable wearing a mask. And I've been very vocal about this for my own safety and, for me to be able to ensure that I'm not receiving a lot of germs from others, because I do attend certain venues or events and there's a lot of people there. I think I'm still going to feel safe and comfortable wearing my mask. It's just become a thing. And now that I have masks that are not breaking out my skin as they were in the beginning, that's just a part of my comfortability. And so it was really interesting to hear from my son who's 16, for him to also be like, you know what, Mom, I don't know, I'm keeping my mask on. I said, that's right, son. So we'll make sure that we have masks aplenty in our house so that we can, continue wearing masks. And, we talked about this before. I mean, I've been hearing these conversations and having conversations in community. People are like, hey, when I'm at the airport and, I see, a plane come in from one of our Asian countries here in this world, they, a lot of times they're already wearing masks before COVID ever hit. There was other reasons why they were wearing masks, and there is something about keeping yourself safe. So just want to say that, we understand the hesitancy around COVID here, always leaving space and grace for those of you that are still like, I'm not sure, or I need more questions answered. Here for us, WA.org is doing a really great job to connect with community members and have focus groups so that they could bring the major concerns happening in Black community in particular to the forefront. So check out here for us, WA.org, and shout out to the Department of Health and everybody who was involved on this amazing campaign. And there's still COVID tests available. So if you are looking to get some COVID tests sent to your home, some of these rapid tests, the government said, look, we're going to be providing up to 4 free tests for each home. So please, check out covidtest.gov. Sign up for those free tests that come to your home. It's another measure that I think is happening as these rapid tests have become more readily available to us in the public. Of course, for those of you who are like, look, I have the money, I'm going to go find them. You can now find these same rapid tests out there at, your drugstores, your local drugstores in your neighborhood. So the idea is that you can just be sure before you attend an event or before you go visit a family member or an elder in community, or a young person, right before you're around youth, that you can be sure that you are safe and keeping them safe as well by doing your own rapid test at home. And I gotta say, last week it was the first time I did one of these tests on myself. I was going to an event space and they said, look, even if you have your vaccine card, we want you to get this test right here, right now. And so it's very simple for any of you out there that have already been tested. It is the same process, honestly. And I said to the people that I was there with, I said, this reminds me of almost like a pregnancy test, because you just swab your nose, right? You put the Q-tip or whatever, after you swab both of your nostrils, you put the Q-tip in some solution that basically dissolves all of your inner germs basically into this solution. And then you use a small little dropper of that liquid solution and you place it a drop or 2 or 3 of it on this little applicator. And the applicator, just like a pregnancy test, right? It's like the applicator is going to give you either 1 stripe for negative or 2 stripes for positive. And so you sit there for 10 minutes waiting for it to complete, but it's a very simple process. I just wanted to explain that to those of you who may even still be questioning, like if you've never even been tested, you're like, what does that look like? What do those rapid tests look like? Trust me, it is a simple process and all of the instructions come with every test. So you are guided throughout the entire process. But again, very simple. I just want to make sure you guys know about that resource. This is going to be a really great show. I mean, we have, Julia Jessie is in the building, our very own Jules from Clapback Culture. She's going to be talking to us about some of the hot topics that are coming up tonight on Clapback. We also have a segment from the Factors TV later on in the show where they actually breached the same topic that we were talking about yesterday with Brian Callanan, this idea of the eviction moratorium lifting at the end of the month. It's going to be a huge deal for so many renters out there who have found themselves behind on their rent due to COVID implications of their jobs, contracts, a lot of folks working in the gig economy. This has been tough on many people, and it does affect, things that are recurring charges for us, like rent, like a mortgage, right? So for those, smaller landlords or homeowners that have had issues, this is something that's very interesting because in the homeowner segment, there's some real specific things that are happening to protect homeowners, right? And it depends on your lending institution. But for renters, this has been something that local municipalities across this country have been having to battle with. And so we found recently that Mayor Harrell said, look, we're going to have to do something different. And the eviction moratorium is going to be lifted at the end of the month. So there's a lot of resources out there. Can't wait to see what our twins, Ronald and Ronnel, thought about this eviction moratorium lifting. And then lastly, I get to have one more guest that's going to be right in studio with me. Devon Williams is going to be with us. Devon Williams is Miss Washington Globe 2022. So I get to talk to another one of our amazing pageant winners. I love this. And Jamaica Haynes knows we've been having her on several times, but just to hear the life of, not just pageantry, but Miss Devon Williams is also involved in other things regarding fashion throughout the city. So looking forward to diving into discussion with her later on in the show. So you guys stay tuned. After this short break, I get to check in with my girl, Julia Jessie. Right after this short break, you're watching the Morning Update Show.
Every student who wants to play music should have the opportunity to. Do you know any young people that are excited to start learning music or pick their instrument back up? Seattle Jazz Ed is now enrolling for spring classes. Open to youth across the area, all music programs are offered on a sliding scale, pay-what-you-can model, and free loaner instruments are available for every family. Taught by some of Seattle's finest artists, classes are designed to meet musicians where they are in skill level with options for beginner, intermediate, and advanced level. And this season, we're opening up ensembles with options for drummers, vocalists, and instrumentalists of all kinds. Registering for March classes can be done online or over the phone, and you can learn more by checking out seattlejazzed.org or calling or texting 206-324-JAZZ.
When the pandemic hit, it did affect me. As a barber, I had my own personal reasons why I didn't get vaccinated. At the time, I didn't check the actual source. I thought the vaccine was developed too fast, but I was talking to a doctor and he was telling me more about the vaccine and what it can do to protect us and our family. I wanted to get back to that once was, right? I do feel safe knowing that I am vaccinated. I just hope what I'm saying is reaching into people's heads to know that this is the best decision for all of us.
Hey there, it's Trey Holiday. And of course, Besa and I had to take a trip back to Market Street Shoes to grab some items. They always know what to show us. And let me tell you, we both spent quality time to be sure we collected some amazing additions to our wardrobes. They have some of the most unique bags, shoes, and accessories. I mean, the whole shebang. It's always a good time when I get to shop with my girl Besa. Make sure you go check out Market Street Shoes, y'all, and you too can walk out with some dope gear. Hey everybody, it's your girl Trey Holiday, host right here, the Morning Update Show. Welcome back, welcome back. I get to also welcome into the show my girl Julia Jessie. What's up, Jules?
What's up, sis? Happy Thursday.
Yeah, how are you? I'm telling you, I'm loving that green. It's popping off your skin tone.
Thank you, honey. This was the color of, well, I probably shouldn't say, but these were some colors that I wore over the weekend. So I'm feeling the green, and green is my favorite color.
Oh, I didn't know that. See,
Yep.
You learn something new every day.
Yep.
Well, welcome again to the Morning Update Show. I mean, it was so great to have you in Seattle last week. Before we dive into all things clapback, I got to ask, I mean, your brother and clearly his fiance picked a great date, 2/22/22 for their nuptials. Tell us a little bit about that wedding, because that's why you were here, but we got to also experience you as well. So how was the wedding?
It was, it wasn't really a wedding, you guys. It was just a ceremony. Due to COVID, they had to keep pushing back their date. But I absolutely love my sister in love. I'm so proud of my brother and Natasha for walking down the aisle. It was a beautiful, intimate ceremony. And in fact, Amari's mom officiated their wedding. So thank you to Mama Harriet for always coming through for our family. She's actually a really, really good friend of my great grandmother, the late great Dorothy Pounds. And so it was nothing but family and love in the room. And I was just, glad to be there.
Oh, so glad that you were able to be there for your brother like that. I tell my brothers, I'm the oldest of four. I tell them all the time, hey, you let me know. You let me know when it's my time to come on up.
Sorry.
That's your phone.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Connected to, busy lady over here, sis. It was connected to my thing. But another thing about coming to Seattle, I really enjoyed kicking it with you guys last week. Just the queens and hanging out with you guys, especially you, Trey. Like, I was sitting there like, tell me more, teach me more. And so Converge is such a great family, you guys. And the Queen of Converge, like, we have so much in store coming up for you guys. We're really, just a group of 4 creative women, and we're just trying to figure out what kind of dynamic content we can put together that's going to be influential, that's going to be, helpful to the culture. And so I'm just so excited to be in the presence of you all. And it was so much love.
No, you're absolutely right. It was a ton of love. And I gotta say, shout out to Plum Bistro, man, amazing food for our brunch on Saturday. I had so much fun. And you're right, when it comes to concepting, I think when we get together, it's just quite natural for us to do that, as much as we, can share about our personal lives, but it's always like comes back to this creative field that we're all in and how we want to really explore that together. So I'm excited too to continue some of those conversations and to figure out how we can get some of those concepts, pull it all together. You are so right. Look, T-Dub and I, as I was dropping T-Dub off, we had the longest discussion. I'm sure you and Base, probably shared that too, where it's just like there was so much more to dive into after we got together. So it's a beautiful sisterhood that I'm just so thankful to be a part of and so glad to be connected to you like that. Well, Mike Davis gave us a glimpse a little bit yesterday about what's going on with Clapback, but there's some hot topics out here this week. Girl. I know you guys are going to be diving in. Go ahead and tell us, what you guys are going to be talking about this week on Clapback.
Girl, so like you said, it's just so much on the menu, you guys. The first thing we're going to talk about is an update on the Kim Potter sentencing, you guys. We talked about it last week that she was going in for sentencing, and child, without giving it away, honey, the girl didn't get nothing, okay? She basically got time served and walked out. And so there is a clip that we're going to play on the show tonight that shows Daunte Wright's mother, who is also white, and talks about the power of white woman tears. And that clip is so powerful. And she talks about the criminal justice system and how there's just such a dismantling that needs to happen in order to really ensure that families are, represented, that justice is being served. And so while she is very grateful for the work that has been put in terms of getting a conviction on Kim Potter, it's such a a slap in the face that Kim Potter is only serving 2 years, and it's crazy.
Well, this is something that we breached here, obviously on the Morning Update show, but I'm so glad that you guys will get to do a deeper dive on it. I know that there's a lot of community members that are just like, man, once again, I mean, I feel like there's almost always this kind of divide, because you have some people that are like, man, okay, let's get hopeful because police are getting prosecuted for these crimes, right? Like that's a part of it. Like, okay, let's like, hey, let's
want the
feel like, okay,
conviction.
that's some progress. But
Yeah.
at the same time, there's this other side that's like, look, man, I don't trust this system. And I know that they're going to do, this is the same stuff. Like, even though they're prosecuting, it's nothing more than performative action.
Absolutely, 100%. And I mean, performative action is like you said, you fight to get the conviction. I mean, we've long fought to even just get them to, be indicted, right? To get the indictment. So you get the indictment, you get the conviction, but you got to bring it all home and get the right sentencing. And so in Kim Potter's case, in the shooting related incident with that killed 20-year-old Dante, right? This is the young Black man that was killed for, she allegedly thought it was a taser, but actually pulled out a gun and shot him as he was leaving the scene. He was unarmed, and he was actually being pulled over for what they initially said were for air fresheners in his rear view, and then on suspended tags during COVID, of all things. So we need to be able to have, again, some police oversight. Also, Trey Holiday, is we're going to talk about that the jury found the 3 white men, the killers of Ahmaud Arbery, were now convicted on federal hate crime charges and on all 3 counts. So they're already serving a life sentence, as you know. But now they have these federal hate crime charges that actually that they were convicted of. And so this is definitely a win for the prosecution. This is a win, I think, for the culture. I think it's not going to add any additional time, obviously, because they're already serving a life sentence. But this sets the narrative. This sets the tone. This sets the standard now that these charges can be brought up and also convicted. Like we said, we want that indictment, we want the conviction, and then we want to see it at sentencing. This is our criminal justice system working for us, working for the people, and serving us well. And basically what this proves is that they were motivated. They were motivated by racial hate and animosity, and this is why they killed Ahmaud Arbery. That is important to be understood, and this is why these charges were implemented.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Jules, about it setting a standard. I think that is, for me, what the justice system, even in the way that it's built with its own racial bias built into it, that right there is where I think about a Thurgood Marshall, right? Back in the day, like fighting for these cases, because you understand that each win and each case begins to set a precedence, right? That's what the legal system is. It goes back to, well, let's see what is in the books already. Let's see what's already been convicted of, how these charges stack up against others. And so that's why it's really a system that builds upon itself to a certain degree. And so when we talk about even a Kim Potter, when we talk about the fact that there's a need for it to be a strong precedent that's set around, hey, there was some intentionality here. The jury found you guilty. And I said it before, I don't think it should be up to just the judge, because the judge comes in with their own biases. And let's be honest, as they're supposed to be so objective, we see it in cases like this oftentimes. So I love how there's a juxtaposition here. And even though these 3 white men were not police officers, we understand that there's racial biases in both of these cases that really set a certain tone for how these cases, came about in the first place. So the idea is that now we can understand federal hate crime charges can be tacked on when you are sitting here literally using your racial hate to fuel you to harm another person. I think that that is huge, as you said, and really does set the tone and set the precedence. What else are you guys going to be diving into tonight?
Girl, so there's two other things I want to talk about. One of which was a topic that came out last week, and it was about the CEO of Moderna. And there was this big post and claim, and the headline was that the CEO of Moderna dumped $400 million of his shares in the vaccine, and then the same day went and deleted his Twitter. So there was this huge uproar that the big pharma industry, that something had happened, that there was this big implication that something happened. Girl, so much so your girl was scared when I went to go get my booster shot. I had 2 doses of Moderna, but when I saw that, I said, oh, no, honey, I will not be getting Moderna because I don't know what's going on. And your girl went ahead and got that Pfizer booster. But Trey Holiday, I had to do my research again. And there is a story that's basically coming out now to say that these two things may be mutually exclusive. They're not sure of the relationship that happens. And in fact, the CEO of Moderna didn't just, pump and dump. He gradually was selling off shares every day since 2019. So it's still a little messy, right? Because clearly the CEO was saying, let me just sell off 1 share a day so I can get my little bit of money. I'm not gonna, crash the stock market, but let me just do this and get my money and quietly put it to the corner. So that, alongside of course, the major thing that's across the headlines right now is Russia invading Ukraine and all the implications that it could have for the United States. We're sitting here in the US and we're like, oh my God, what's going to happen to us? Does this mean war? Is NATO going to jump out there and, bombs are going to be, kicking it out here in the United States? What does it mean for us? And so we want to talk to our viewers tonight about what the implications for the United States citizens could be. And there's a few right now that we know of for sure. We know that inflation is going to happen. I mean, the cost of food prices are going to go up. We're going to definitely probably see that. And we're also going to see, probably gas prices going up. And so what happens is, Trey, is that a lot of the gas station providers, they will cushion their pricing and make it go up now, just in case the purchase price goes up, so they can pad that a little bit. And so while gas prices are extremely high right now, I mean, when I was in Seattle, I bought gas at $4.45. Couldn't believe it. And with that being said, I mean, I just don't even know how much higher gas could be, but that is something that is absolutely going to happen. And also the stock market, we're going to see a lot of crashing in the stock market. Stocks are down right now, but financial advisors are just saying, hold on tight, don't sell anything off, let this moment pass, and things should go ahead and catch back up.
Well, this is so interesting because both of these stories tie back to stocks, right? And so you're talking about the CEO of Moderna selling off his shares. It always is going to kind of cause an uproar because there's something going on. And it's funny because oftentimes we as the public don't know about it until it's already done, right? It's like, oh, it comes out and he's already made his money because he knew what was up and he foresaw it coming. So you're right. That might be something that may have longer implications as time goes on. Honestly, I watch a lot of different things that really talk about how, these multimillionaires and billionaires are always trying to cover their assets. And so when you see moves like that, it's no wonder why people are like, what's going on there? Whether they're, mutually exclusive. I like how you said kind of the verdict is still out on that. Could be, but also, we may see some things later down the line. And you're right here. I mean, I'm seeing it everywhere, Jules. Russia invading Ukraine. This is going to have implications on us. I love how you pinpoint that there's some specific ways we're going to see some financial fluctuation here in the US, but it's also this idea of, Biden and Vladimir Putin, like this kind of battle between the two of them too. I think we're all seeing that play out, globally. And It
It's
really
scary.
causes some questions. Yeah, it really does, because I mean, again, let's just be real. We already saw that when Trump was in office, there was some type of buddy stuff happening, and that had people wondering what was going on, because it was, kind of behind closed doors. All of these charges that came out for the Trump administration afterwards, were they hiding information? What was his son-in-law doing? Like, all of these kind of things, people had so much rhetoric around it. So, Jules, you're bringing up two topics that I feel like we're going to have to, as a society, we're going to have to watch them really play out and see how it affects us personally, whether people have stocks in Moderna, or whether obviously they care about war coming to our shores, right? That's always a thing. And throughout our lives, we haven't actually had to experience that after a 9/11, or outside of 9/11, right? Where it was like there was this, thing that came and it hit the Twin Towers, and we had to deal with it here as U.S. citizens. But a lot of stuff that we've been dealing with since, for our generation, has been our troops fighting overseas. So it hasn't actually hit our shores in that regard. So you're right, man. This is going to be interesting for sure, Jules.
It is. And, it's just scary times, even when you were talking about just like all of this encompassed with COVID is still here, mask mandates are coming down, even here in the District of Columbia. I'm getting ready to go back in office in person. And so, I think, the best thing is everyone should just take a deep breath, a big belly breath, as my sis Trey Holiday would say. Breathe in the good, breathe out the bad. And we just got to sit back and let things happen. My grandmother used to always say, just stand still and let God do his work. So we'll see, girl. I don't know. It's getting crazy. But tonight, Clapback Culture, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. If you're on the East Coast like me, I cannot wait to see you guys, to chop it up with you, me and my boy, Mike Davis.
As always, Jules, what a pleasure to have you with us right here on the Morning Update Show. Appreciate you and all the work that you're doing. I know it takes a lot to put out all of this amazing content. So thank you for everything you're doing. So great to have you with us. And please, you guys, tune in tonight, 7 p.m. for Clapback Culture. We'll see you then, Jules.
All right. I'll see you soon. Thanks, Trey.
Oh, always a great time with my girl Jules. And the truth of the matter is that they get to do deeper dives than we do here. So you guys, as she was saying, she's setting it up for you guys, but it's an interactive conversation. They open up their chat. They want to hear from all the audience. They want to incorporate your questions, incorporate your feedback and your comments in their show. So please feel free to stay tuned to that tonight, 7 p.m. Always a great time on Clapback. After this short break, you guys, I'm going to be diving into a clip from the Factors TV where they were talking about the eviction moratorium lifting. Stay tuned after this short break. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
Hey guys, Besa Gordon here with some much needed information about what's happening in our communities when it comes to COVID-19 in 2022. Omicron is actually the latest COVID-19 variant and honestly is hitting our local communities and hospitals pretty hard. You can help out by 1, making sure you are vaccinated, 2, making sure you have your booster, and 3, simply masking up. As we learn more about COVID-19, we're also learning more about how the vaccine works best. A booster shot 2 to 5 months after your COVID-19 vaccine significantly improves protection against COVID and its many variants. If you need a COVID-19 vaccine or a booster, there are free options for transportation and childcare that are available. To learn more about all of your options and where you can get your booster shot, go to kingcounty.gov/COVID/vaccine.
Hey there, it's Trey Holiday. And of course, Besa and I had to take a trip back to Market Street Shoes to grab some items. They always know what to show us. And let me tell you, we both spent quality time to be sure we collected some amazing additions to our wardrobes. They have some of the most unique bags, shoes, and accessories. I mean, the whole shebang. It's always a good time when I get to shop with my girl Besa. Make sure you go check out Market Street Shoes, y'all, and you too can walk out with some dope gear. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your host, Trey Holiday. And you know what? I really appreciate my brothers, Ronald and Ronnel, for all the work that they're doing on The Factors TV. You guys can find The Factors tonight at 9 p.m. And they are always bringing the heat. We have a little clip here of them talking about the eviction moratorium. Let's roll that.
Everybody who was like, I ain't got to pay rent, I hope you got a plan, because they kicking fools out.
I hope you were stacking that cheddar.
Stacking that EDD, PPP, stacking something. Because they're coming, man. Like, it's fun. Obviously, to me, the government did what they were supposed to do the whole time during the pandemic. They should have been helping people, aiding people, services, programs, stimulus checks. They should have been doing that. But also, it's up to the people to also be responsible with everything going on. And there were some people who really was in dire need, who really couldn't make it,
really needed help, yeah.
And then there were some people who were just like, man, I ain't about to pay. You ain't got to pay. So now, they lifting it up, and it's like, so many people are going to be displaced.
SOL.
My gosh, they bring their true self to The Factors TV. And you know what? They are right. I mean, this is a real debate out here. Number one, we have people that have been affected because of COVID. So their job literally shut down, right? And so you had a lot of people that were like trying to figure out how to get assistance. There was so many assistance programs. I talk about this all the time. This is why me and Omari said, we got to do something. Let's start a show to just try to make sure that people know how to access these resources that are out in community. But the truth of the matter is that we know, and as we know, there's always a segment of our society that's looking to get over one way or the other. Let's just be real about it. And I think that they're being very honest here to say that there's some people that really needed it. And there was others that were like, well, I mean, I can still work, but I mean, it's not like they're going to be able to check if I'm working. They're not really checking for it. So I can kind of get away with this right now. But you look up and then you realize, oh my goodness, I'm $15,000 in debt for my rent. And I've been traveling. I've been buying this. I've been using the money in other ways. Whatever it is folks have been doing, that has not meant that now they have a bucket of money to pull from for their rental debt. This is a real thing. As I'm always saying, when I talk about this with our guy, Brian Callanan, I'm like, look, I understand that it is a local municipal subject right now. This is a problem that every city is basically having to deal with across the country. I am a stark believer. I have a hard time, you guys, of understanding why this is not federally mandated. We're dealing with something that in terms of COVID that not only hit our country, but it hit the globe. It hit the globe. I mean, this was international issue. You had a lot of areas, a lot of countries that have been dealing with this. So the idea is that it's now on every city to try to figure out how to get themselves out of this hole that has been dug by something that had international implications. It blows my mind that there isn't an international response to something that happened internationally. And even if we think national, let's just talk about the US. The fact that America, the federal government here, they did a stimulus. All right, cool. They did another one. All right, cool. But we know that that wasn't going to be enough. I've been talking about the fact that this is monumental when it comes to our financial industry. We understand that it has hit banks. It has hit big landlords, small landlords, homeowners, renters. It's hitting everybody. So I'm like, well, the whole time I've been like, why isn't there a huge freeze happening to just literally forget about this debt that everyone owed during this time? If we can hit a reset button, right, where financial institutions are not going to have to pay a penalty for the fact that they weren't remitted certain funds coming from some of these landlords or some of these renters, that renters themselves won't have to bear the burden of, man, I just didn't have it at the time. I've had to figure it out in the midst of COVID, right? And we're talking about 2 years of this COVID like hitting us. And ultimately, it's not, I don't think it's right that that even Mayor Harrell or any other mayor in any city has to be like, well, this is how we're going to deal with it here in our city. I think that there's an opportunity federally to say, we're just going to hit a reset button for everybody. That means it starts with financial institutions that are going to be the ones putting the major pressure on landlords and on renters to actually remit this debt. Look, I'll say this. I also may be very hopeful and my ideas may be totally in the clouds. And some financial advisor could tell me how this is impossible, what I'm saying. But the truth of the matter is that we're dealing with something that hit so many of us, practically all of us. I mean, we're talking about whether you got COVID or not. I think about my own situation, right? I was able to work this entire time. Thank God that I was able to do that. Thank God that my job didn't have a tremendous halt in its funding that wouldn't allow me to continue to be paid. So, me, of course, I'm responsible. I'm one of those folks that the Factors was just talking about. I just continued to pay my rent. I wasn't looking for any assistance. I thought it really belonged to those who needed it. I wasn't trying to get over on the system or get some additional help just because it was available. I was like, I'm not one of those people that needs it right now. But I do know some of my neighbors here in the apartment building I was living in definitely needed it. I do understand that some of my family members were the ones that really needed it, that had a real major hit on their jobs or their incomes. So I just got to say that my ideas of how we get out of this for real, is at a federal level. It's just a full freeze on that time frame. And while we are still working ourselves out of this COVID pandemic, ultimately, we're starting to see some building back up again of the economy and the financial sector, right? So maybe now we can have a reset where it's like people would understand, all right, there's no longer going to be any breaks for me when it comes to my rent. I'm going to really have to figure this out as a person, like we do every single day. All of us out here that don't come from silver spoons, or we don't have trust funds we get to live off of, or we're not, in the 1% of the population that, has all of this wealth. Ultimately, it hits many of us that we have to work for our due. We have to pay our way. And so my thing is I would love to see something coming. And I was really, I'm telling you, I was hopeful because I was like, Joe Biden's coming in, maybe this is where he can really make his mark, like do something at a federal level that's going to impact all Americans, not a temporary stimulus, because we know that kind of injection into the economy is very fleeting, right? But something that is going to be long lasting that says we're forgiving this debt at all levels and we're going to move forward. That's just my idea. So you guys stay tuned tonight, 9 p.m. for the Factors TV. So you guys can hear more about their conversation around this eviction moratorium. Trust me, it is a hot button issue hitting the entire city and other cities around us, because now they're going to be looking to Seattle, see what Seattle does, how it plays out, what it looked like for the sheriff's office to have to do evictions, what it looked like to disseminate that $25 million that they have for people who have been, late on their rent or now need help with their rent, and what it's going to look like for these court opportunities that are opening up for people to go through the court mandates and say, hey, this is what's going on with me. I still need help. I don't want to be evicted. I'm going to go through this process. So Seattle is trying to do some things to really remedy the situation, but I think other cities are holding out just to see how it plays out here in Seattle. So we'll see. This is another thing that I think is going to take time to unfold. But I'm glad that our brothers, Ronald and Ronnel, over at the Factors TV tonight, they're going to dive into it. You guys check them out right here where you're watching the Morning Update Show or any of our other streams where you find Converge Media. They'll be right there for you tonight at 9 p.m. Coming up after this short break, you guys, I get to talk to Devon Williams, Miss Washington Globe 2020. We're going to be diving into all things pageantry. And later on, we're going to be talking about Ebony Fashion Week. Excited to dive in with her right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
Every student who wants to play music should have the opportunity to. Do you know any young people that are excited to start learning music or pick their instrument back up? Seattle Jazz Ed is now enrolling for spring classes. Open to youth across the area, all music programs are offered on a sliding scale, pay-what-you-can model, and free loaner instruments are available for every family. Taught by some of Seattle's finest artists, classes are designed to meet musicians where they are in skill level with options for beginner, intermediate, and advanced level. And this season, we're opening up ensembles with options for drummers, vocalists, and instrumentalists of all kinds. Registering for March classes can be done online or over the phone, and you can learn more by checking out seattlejazzed.org or calling or texting 206-324-JAZZ.
When the pandemic hit, it did affect me. As a barber, I had my own personal reasons why I didn't get vaccinated. At the time, I didn't check the actual source. I thought the vaccine was developed too fast, but I was talking to a doctor and he was telling me more about the vaccine and what it can do to protect us and our family. I wanted to get back to that once was, right? I do feel safe knowing that I am vaccinated. I just hope what I'm saying is reaching into people's heads to know that this is the best decision for all of us.
Hey there, it's Trey Holiday. And of course, Besa and I had to take a trip back to Market Street Shoes to grab some items. They always know what to show us. And let me tell you, we both spent quality time to be sure we collected some amazing additions to our wardrobes. They have some of the most unique bags, shoes, and accessories. I mean, the whole shebang. It's always a good time when I get to shop with my girl Besa. Make sure you go check out Market Street Shoes, y'all, and you too can walk out with some dope gear. Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your host, Trey Holiday, and joining me on set right now is Devon Williams, Miss Washington Globe 2022. All right. Hi, Devon. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I have been a fan of Converge since its fruition, so I'm so excited to be in the space. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm telling you, when people say that, it means something so much to me, and I know it means something to Omari. We really appreciate the fact that our community has actually, bought into what we're doing here, what we're selling here, like how we're coming about. We are so authentic. So that means a lot, honestly, to hear that. I'm glad that we're continuing in that vein to keep people engaged in the media we're creating here. Ms. Devon, you get to tell us all about what Miss Washington Globe 2022 is. Tell us about yourself.
Yes. Oh my gosh. This is so exciting. Thank you so much. So my name is Devon Williams. I am your reigning Miss Washington Globe 2022. I am a spokeswoman for the WIN Foundation. That's Women in Need Foundation. And Mrs. Globe was founded along with the WIN Foundation in 1996 by Dr. Tracy Kemble. And the WIN Foundation is primarily sponsored by Mrs. Globe, and as an advocate and as a representative for Washington State, not only do I get to go to Palm Springs in May and hopefully win the title of Mrs. US of A, and then go on to China to represent the United States for the title of Mrs. Globe, but I'm a spokeswoman for WIN. So WIN is Women in Need, and Miss Dr. Tracy, she started it after a really terrible circumstance. She was in a very narcissistic, abusive relationship, and seeing a need for herself and other women to recover, she created a curriculum that provides women the tools and the resources and the information to apply, and to, whether you have been through narcissistic abuse or any type of abuse, or whether you're just looking to sharpen your tools, the WIN Foundation is an incredible platform, and Mrs. Globe sponsors that through the Reclaiming Me classes that WIN does. So it's really exciting to be a part of that, and just to have a lot of fun and represent my state and hopefully represent my country.
This is really exciting. I mean, because we understand that, pageantry really has a global reach. I mean, you're talking about Mrs. Washington Globe 2022, and now you can have the opportunity to go and represent not just Washington State, possibly winning the national title, and then going to China to win the international. It's a huge honor and feat, and I'm sure you feel that all the time. But one of the things that I think I really appreciated about some of the things I read in your bio was when we talk about people who have had to deal with narcissistic abuse, that really broadens the scope, because we're not just talking about physical abuse or mental abuse. There is a lot that people deal with in relationships where narcissism is alive and well. And I got to tell you, that really struck me, because I don't think a lot of us think about abuse in that regard. How has it been for you as a spokeswoman for, WIN, to be out there talking about not only the programs of WIN, but how you guys are really empowering people to get out of those kinds of situations?
Yeah, so not only is Mrs. Globe the number one and the most prestigious pageant for Mrs. in the world, especially for women like me, women who are involved in their grassroots communities, women who are mothers. I'm a mother of one. It ties into my personal platform, which is foster abuse awareness. I was a foster child. I was an abused foster child. And so often, not only are grown folks who are abused completely counted out, but especially our foster youth. And so WIN is very near and dear to my heart, because it brings awareness to foster abuse awareness as well. And as you said, so many different types of abuse tie into that. And the more we speak about it, the more we bring awareness to it, the more we call that out, the more that we can pass that education on to the next person.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so much of this is about opening it up for general discourse, which oftentimes does not happen. And I love that you're out there putting yourself out there in your story, because people connect to these personal stories. And tell us a little bit about how it's been for you to be on this trail, really sharing who you are, because so much of when we see people win, it's because you've been your authentic self, right? Not just a face for something, but you've been able to dig deep and be vulnerable in a sense, and share where people can really connect with your story.
Exactly, exactly. So pageantry is not just hearts and stars and crowns and sashes. Pageantry requires a lot of inner work as well. I went into my pageantry journey in 2014, and I was really, really excited. But I would look in the mirror and I would say, okay, well, who am I to represent my state? I mean, clearly God saw fit, but I saw that I had to do a lot of inner work, and to be okay with receiving when, of course, when you're in survival mode and you're just trying to live and get things done, it's hard to receive. So pageantry really helped me soften my heart and my mind to receive love and support from my community, love and support from the international communities as well. And I know that without that inner work, I would not be sitting here today.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that, to me, that's really where the authenticity comes in, because it is something that I'm sure the judges even see through, right? Like there's, one thing about like, hey, I'm doing this just because I love pageants, but there's another thing to be like, no, I'm representing something that's greater than myself, that makes me really be fueled to do this. How can people kind of follow up with you as Miss Washington Globe 2022 as you continue on this journey?
Yes, yes, yes. So as I said, I will be going to represent the state in Palm Springs in May. Until then, go to mrsglobe.com. You can find my profile there. Vote for me, vote for me, vote for me. And also just keep up with the campaign. I'll be on Instagram, Facebook at Vonnie. Make sure to go and follow me. Follow all of the Mrs. Globe platforms on Instagram and Facebook. And it's so much fun. It's completely glamorous. And it's just great to see all of these ladies who are crowned and sashed and who are powerhouses, each individual just powerhouses doing the work and getting things done. So keep up on social media, and yeah, just keep up on my pages. I'll keep you guys all in the loop.
Well, there we go. I mean, you're talking about a lot going on in community. And, not only is it that there's this need to do something on the pageant side, but Ms. Devon, you too are doing something from a community perspective that allows people to dive into their form of fashion. And this, of course, we are talking about Ebony Fashion Week. I know so many people who look for this event are so excited when it comes on, really showcasing local folks that are creating amazing fashions. And I gotta tell you, I'm a huge fan, because I'm somebody who's constantly shopping locally, really intentional about my Black dollars circulating in Black communities. Tell us more about, what got you to say, I need to do something even more. I'm going to do this Ebony Fashion Week. Tell us about the beginnings.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Ebony Fashion Week is my second baby. So Ebony Fashion Week was founded out of my love for pageantry, community service, and fashion. I've been modeling in the Pacific Northwest since 2008, went into pageantry in 2014. And in 2016, so much momentum was picked up. I was like, okay, how do I keep this party going? And after modeling so long, I was like, how do I create a space like this for my community? And Ebony Fashion Week was born. To be clear, no relation to the Ebony Fashion Fair. We absolutely honor those who created that platform for us. Ebony Fashion Week my mission at Ebony Fashion Week is to create a space for new and established models, designers, all Black folks, Black designers, Black models, Black hair and makeup, Black photographers, all Black everything. And the mission is to bridge the gap between grassroots communities and the high fashion industry, and ultimately to not just be here based in the Pacific Northwest, but to go all over the world. There are grassroots communities all over the world, and especially us Black folks, we use fashion to express ourselves more than anybody. And so it's just really exciting to pioneer the Pacific Northwest's first and only mainstream fashion platform for the celebration of Black culture, history, art, and fashion. One more point. Oh my gosh. So in 2020, in the heart of our pandemic, we were so blessed to forge a partnership with Estee Lauder. And so that was exciting. We're just going to continue to move forward. God is really touching the platform. And so Fashion Week Noir was founded out of that partnership. And so now we are Ebony Fashion Week presenting Fashion Week Noir, which will be happening this Sunday.
Oh my gosh. This is beautiful.
Yes.
You know, you said something there that really strikes me. And anybody who watches the Morning Update show, they know. I wear myself on my clothes, right?
Okay.
Like it's just it's like it's a real thing. And whatever I'm feeling that day, I find a way to incorporate it into my style, into my wardrobe. And I get so much great love on this platform here. Thank you to all the viewers who are always showing me love for my different outfits and my glasses and my aesthetic. But the idea is that, you know, as Black community and Black folks across this country, we've always done that. So one of the things I'm loving to see is that we're recognizing the gems in our own communities. We're recognizing that I don't care if you are a major label or not. I'm going to support you because I think your stuff is dope. I want to wear it, right? You have something that you're showcasing and I want to be able to put it on my body. So I love that we are really opening up to supporting our local fashion designers. That is huge. Tell us about some of the connections that you've been making in community with regard to Ebony Fashion Week, because I know it takes a whole team.
Oh, it takes work. It absolutely takes work. So some of the things that we've been doing, as I mentioned, I was a foster child, and our fostering fashion campaign, which we are launching this year, is specifically for foster youth who are interested in fashion, who want to showcase or who want to walk the runway themselves. It's all about the cause at the end of the day. And so it's really exciting to just move forward and to continue to provide space. We've showcased Black designers who have been featured in Essence and Vogue. And then this Sunday, we're going to be showcasing a designer whose very first show is Ebony Fashion Week and Fashion Week Noir. So, I mean, just those connections, both those mainstream and grassroots connections are really what it's all about.
It really is. And again, you know, bringing that mainstream to the community is important too, so we can continue to support our Black fashion designers out there, regardless of where they are. Thank you so much for that. Make sure you look right there in that camera and tell people how they can touch up with Ebony Fashion Week, how they can come out and support on Sunday.
Absolutely. So get your tickets. Oh my goodness. We are doing Ebony Fashion Week presents Fashion Week Noir, White Chocolate and Gold this Sunday at Washington Hall, beginning at 6:30 p.m. It is going to be glorious. We are showcasing 3 designers, all Black, everything, you guys. And even if you are not Black, if you just want to celebrate the essence of Black culture with us, come on through. You can wear your finest or you can come as you are. Just come ready to have an incredible time.
Oh, sounds so amazing. I got to see some of the beauty of Ebony Fashion Week. And let me tell you, great job. I so appreciate you for utilizing not just your platform in that way, but also your passion that shows through. And I think that that really fuels so many of us who are doing these amazing kind of community efforts. So I'm so glad you were able to come today.
You know, that means so much to me, because if I, this former foster kid, ward of the state, if I can create a platform, if I can walk into pageantry and create a platform, if God can do it for me, he can do it for anyone. And so if anything, I just want to show with my life, God, just use me for what you want me to do, and to just show that anybody can do this. Just put your mind and heart into it. Don't worry about what the naysayers say, and just go forward, and you will continue to be blessed. So I really appreciate the support. We are a grassroots organization that are continuing to skyrocket, and I look forward to seeing where we go. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. To the stars. Well, thank you again. Thank you again. Oh my goodness. What an amazing show. Once again, you guys have been rocking with me this week. I just appreciate you guys for watching. And of course, tomorrow we got my show, Feel Good Friday. And I'm so excited because I get to have my brother Blaze on the set with me. We're going to be diving into his personal story. It is a phenomenal story. And I think we need to be able to showcase our people that have gone through the system of incarceration, how they have their own restoration and resilience. It is another opportunity to be inspired by somebody doing phenomenal work. And of course, my girl T-Dub is going to be joining us tomorrow on Feel Good Friday. We're going to be diving into all things art of the matter. So glad that she'll be joining us as well. Oh, there it is. Okay, thank you. Vidal Vincent. Yeah, my brother Blaze right there. We are going to have a great time tomorrow as always. And, we're going to be bringing you guys the feel good vibes and feel good energy. I also want to make sure I get this in here too, that you guys, this weekend, Converge is going to be at the Opera. Converge Media Night on the 26th and the 27th. Make sure you guys email BESA, BESA, at whereweconverge.com to get your tickets for the show. I mean, we had Joshua Conyers on yesterday, and I was blown away with all of the things that he was saying about this show in particular, but it's a complete Black show. So we were just hearing about a Black fashion show, all Black. We got this opera that's all Black. When I tell you Black brilliance is thriving in so many different ways, and I'm so grateful to have this platform to showcase some of that Black brilliance. So please email BESA, BESA, at whereweconverge.com for you guys to get your tickets, either the 26th or the 27th, right there at McCall Hall. Come and enjoy Blue with us. I think I got everything. Great. I did it all. Great job, Salman. Thank you guys again for joining us today. And, as always, make it a feel good for yourselves. Do what you can to be involved in something that is you creating a solution that is necessary. We heard it from Devon here today that there was something that was in Devon to say, I need to do something, and this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to make my mark. Be inspired so you too can see yourself as a part of the solution. And as my brother O would say, go forward in your purpose, go forward in your humanity. Until tomorrow at 11 a.m. Peace.
What do I see through a lens of fear? 1,000 little steps to go. What do I fear after all these years? Lord knows I don't even know. I've been running on the edge of a sundial, sleeping in the shadow. I've been begging you to see me, then hiding beyond the unreachable. Looking out left on a right-hand turn, just trying to make a deal. A lazy shoes and love is a love that turn. That's the kind of food that heals. I've been searching for the end of an era, waiting to be ready. The world is bigger than a moment. Be steady, that's how you can feel it's real. But I feel naked in my new clothes, 'cause I got used to hide.